Hey guys, what's up? It's Pixie here. Hi, how you doing? I look terrible because I've just been out in the rain and I actually haven't shaved for like a couple of weeks at this point. Unfortunately, I can't grow facial hair, so it's not really that impressive. But anyway, I was a little bit inspired, I guess, to start a vlog. Just kind of documenting. Well, Jesus, documenting really, but just sort of talking about myself and my role here at DWAI and what I do, and keeping people updated as well on what's actually kind of going on. Also with some plans for the future, like I'm going to be moving into Vegas for a little while, and then I'm going to be moving over to Australia for some stuff there, and I just kind of want to document that journey as well, because I think that might be interesting for people to see. Like, you know, the idea of a gaming house. I mean, I can't really say it's a brand new one, but it's gained a lot of traction in the Western world now with the North American LCS, and as well in Europe with the EU LCS, and they have like all their house tours, and they also do interviews and stuff within the houses. And I just thought it might be kind of interesting because you see a little bit of the player side of it. I thought it might be a bit more interesting for some people to see the admin side of things and what it's like for somebody who isn't actually a player working in esports. So that's really what this is all about. And yeah, I've got a couple of things I just kind of want to talk about for this first one. First of all, like, just how I came to DWAI, basically. And I mean, for those of you who don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know, because this is going on the DWAI channel, but DWAI, DWAI stands for Don't Worry About It. So it's Don't Worry About It Gaming. Wonderful philosophy. I keep putting my hands up behind my head, don't I? Yeah, same gestures over and over again. But basically, I'd been playing League with a few people I knew through a completely separate community whom I'd met through Minecraft. I found myself increasingly not so much enjoying that community. I'm not going to mention who it was, and it's nothing against the people there or anything or the atmosphere. Everything was actually really great, but I just felt like I wanted something else. And I'd happened across the blog of XYZ or Ryan. Some people know him as either, and yeah, he of course had all the stuff about DWAI. So finally, I was actually free at a time that one of the North American draft nights was running. So I popped on to check out what it was all about, joined, and had a wonderful time. Actually, it was really awesome. Like, I was kind of blown away by it. That it was like this is something they did every single week, and I was like, is it actually like this good every week? Like, is it as many teams? Like, is it that kind of fierce a competition? It was actually really fun, and getting to play as well with people you'd never met before. Everyone was really friendly, and that's just not an experience you get regularly in League of Legends. And really, that's what drew me into DWAI. I was like, I'm not going to get this just playing on my own. I might get this at other gaming communities, but whatever. I'm here first. I'll stick with this one, unless it turns sour. And to put it simply, it never did turn sour. And after a little while, I just sort of caught wind that Ryan was looking to expand out globally into Europe and Oceania, as you would, and I just sort of put myself forward. I said, if you want somebody to help out with the OCE stuff, then I'm more than happy to do what I can. And he sort of came back to me and went, all right, well, I'm going to make you director, which blew me away a little. Again, I was quite surprised, but in a pleasant way by how things were done at DWAI. He was very forward and confident, but also very casual and very approachable. And someone like me who had only been around for a couple of weeks could actually go to him and just sort of say, I want to help out. And he was like, all right, well, we can get you to help out. And gave me a lot of responsibility. Admittedly, OC took a while to launch, so I had a lot of time actually to sort of work myself up to that, to get to know the other admins and do some other work around DWAI before I was really doing taking on all the duties associated with being director of Oceania. So yeah, in the interim before OC launched, I took on quite a few different roles, some of which I still have, some of which I don't, and I will go over that a bit later. But I ended up taking up a lot of stuff to do with the YouTube channel, which I am still not quite leading. We of course we have other staff, and we also have Seven Sins of Wonka, who runs all our multimedia stuff. So that's across YouTube and Twitch and and anything media related. And yeah, we're still looking to get content out on our YouTube channel, and we're actually starting to get there finally. This being part of that, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff to do with that. Also, I ended up launching our casting division, which is now actually running quite smoothly. And what's happening with that is, like, every week we'll get the schedule in that's constructed using both what the team scrims for the week are, what the events are, and we just put that all together. And I keep looking at myself over in the camera, over in the corner. But we just sort of put all that together and hand it over to the casters, and the casters can then come back to us and say, yeah, I can do this, yeah, I can do this, yeah, I can do this. And in about a day, we'll already have our schedule for the week of who's casting what, and at what times, and in what regions, and it's become a really smooth, like, pretty well-polished operation. Yeah, so that's really, that's what I was doing a lot of in the interim. Then we finally got some traction and properly launched the Oceanic Division, starting with Draft Night, and just through that we've managed to get a really solid following, actually. And in a couple of weeks' time, we were all the way up to full-on 8-team Draft Nights, which was running about level with what North America is also doing. So we tend to get anywhere between 6 to 8 teams, which is pretty good. Like, everyone's really pleased with how it's going. I mean, we always look to improve and make it bigger and better, but, you know, we don't want to do that to the detriment of the event, and it's running really healthily right now. We're also 4 days away from our first Oceanic YOLO Queue tournament, which is actually a full-on prize tournament. You get an RP prize and a Triumphant Rice Skin, so that's being launched now. And Oceania for DWAI it's really starting to come together, and that's really cool to see, I reckon. You know, we're bringing on quite a few staff members, all fulfilling different things. And I don't want to go into heaps of detail, if I'm honest, because I'll just bore you. And we're possibly looking at doing more admin vlogs, so I'll leave it to them to talk about their stuff and what they do here and who they are. So when that all launched, a couple of things had to shift around. I mean, first of all, I found I actually couldn't really do the casting side stuff anymore. Like, I still like to cast personally when I can, and I tend to do so with my casting partner if at all possible. My casting partner being Mega Dragon. Just gonna get a glass of water here. And yeah, I wasn't actually able to run the casting division and stay as head of casting, and I ended up handing that over to Pink Rambo, again, who some of you know, and she's picked that up just in the last couple of weeks, actually, and it's just running so beautifully. Everything's just going really well. So I've dedicated myself a lot more to running the Oceanic Division under DWAI, and I've consistently been surprised at how big an undertaking that actually is. It's a lot of energy, it really is, but it's really rewarding. Like, I remember hearing this saying, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. I don't get paid for this. There's no two ways about it. I have another job I do during the day, but that's the thing. I can go to my other job, I can work an 8-hour day, I can come home, and I can, you know, I can start doing all my work for DWAI, and it doesn't feel like I'm doing an extra exhausting amount of work on top of that. You know, basically, I purely didn't have the time to be doing some of the other work as well, like you know, like running the casting division, keeping complete control over events in Oceania. You know, I've got event staff that do that now. I'm not making enough eye contact, am I? But yeah, I actually didn't have the time, so I ended up dropping some of those things. So right now, I am director of Oceania still. I also, I think the correct title is YouTube content manager. So I'm technically still having quite a lot of say in what goes on YouTube, and what that really entails is I pitch series if I have ideas. People also pitch series to me. I collaborate with Seven Sins of Wonka and whoever else we need to bring in on it to decide whether or not we give a series the green light. When we do, that's when we start bringing in people, you know. Often, you know, the person who suggested it is like, hey, I'd really like to do this series on the DWAI YouTube channel. And you know, I'm going to be honest, this doesn't happen too often. Otherwise, there'd be a lot more content up here. But this is how it is. It is intended to work at the very least. And yeah, we get in touch with the people who will be doing the series. We like to get, you know, a pilot episode basically. We also get in touch with somebody who can edit it, and then we end up handing it off to Avarice Bra. That's one hell of a name. To Avarice, who he sort of manages the channel itself directly, so everything gets uploaded via him, which means he also screens it for quality, makes sure everything's neat and tidy, makes sure series are all in in the series things you can do on YouTube. I don't know what they're called. I'm a pretty useless content manager, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't even know what half the stuff is called. But that's really how that side of things work, and I still do that job. I have, I wouldn't say control of any sort over the casting division, but I definitely, my face is still seen around there. Definitely, though I don't have an official role under that, and I do cast when I can. I actually recently received a noise complaint, so I can't cast too much. I know, I got a noise complaint from my neighbours. Apparently I'm casting too loud, but oh well, these things happen. So, that kind of sums up what's going on right now. So the next thing I want to talk about, and this is actually the last thing I want to talk about, is where we're going next. Because we've started to get a bit of momentum and a bit of traction in Oceania. We've launched and everything's quite healthy. And we're always looking for the next step. And, we of course have a lot of things planned out in advance. Some quite specifically planned, some are quite vague. But we do have these things planned out. And the immediate next step for us is we're actually looking at putting together DWAI Gaming for Oceania. So a top team in Oceania under DWAI, which will be pretty huge if we can get it together. Because there is a really great competitive scene right now in Oceania. There's a surprisingly good number of teams. There's a few that you hear about all the time, but there's actually a lot more teams out there. The other thing we're actually looking to do is we're looking to launch a lot of tournaments for those teams, because it can't just be the same few teams like VGR and everyone in every single tournament. We want other teams to be able to play in tournaments regularly, and we want to have a tournament circuit, or a series of circuits rather, established that actually allow more players to play League of Legends in Oceania at that professional level, because it's, we've seen it in North America, it's actually quite a struggle when you aren't in that full-on top bracket. Like, if you're not in the LCS, a lot of teams do struggle to stay together, and purely just because there isn't a whole lot for them at that level. So we just sort of think we've got to establish that in Oceania first before we have anything like that top 8 LCS kind of competition. We and it's not just us by any means. It's not just all going to be DWAI. Like there's several other groups in Oceania, and I definitely think that together we can actually get a far healthier tournament scene than we have in other places in the world. Like, I'm not trying to say this to the detriment of any other region. Like, gosh, these tournaments just suck, just fucking challenging, nothing going on. I didn't swear there, actually, you didn't hear that. But, we're actually in a really good position to help establish that for teams. And that's something we really want to do, and that's something we really want to be a part of at DWAI. And we also want to do that working with other groups. Like I said, we don't want it to just all be us. Like, you can't do that sort of thing on your own as a single organization. It's not possible. You can't be the one group that is somehow paying the bills for 24 teams. It's just not possible. It really isn't. Even if you're not sponsoring those teams, just there isn't physically that much prize money that one organization can muster. So that's really a big thing we want to be a part of, and we've got a lot of stuff that are actually around it, and also people we're working with. Such as Multispark from Oceanic Tournaments. We're working with them as well. Like I said, we don't want to be doing this stuff on our own because it's just not really possible. That's kind of the next step for DWAI OC as a whole. On top of that, also, we want to be establishing a lot of the things we've already got going on in North America, like getting a lot of teams together, getting a scrim circuit, and also just having more events, because, events are fun. Like, people like coming to events, otherwise we wouldn't run them because nobody would be turning up. So, we're always putting out events that we try and make as consistently good as possible. As much as I want to say we're all about quality, you guys are the ones that get to be the judges of that. The next step for me personally is not different, but it does deviate in some ways. Like, I'm going to be doing all of that stuff, but I'm also planning on moving to the Vegas house for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long. Could only be 1 month, could be like 6 months. It partly depends on, how much money I have, what kind of visa I can get, and what's actually going on here. Like, if I want to come back or not. I actually checked to see if you could see me counting on my fingers over in where I can see my face, which is a bit disconcerting, I might add, seeing my own face. Someone's going to take that the wrong way. Anyway, yeah, I want to, head out there, and I want to get a handle on how they're running their house, and what I'm then going to do is I'm going to head over to Australia. And in Australia, we are going to establish our DWAI Oceanic Gaming House. And that is going to also serve as HQ, much like the North American one. So we're going to have our top team. So that DWAI gaming team we're forming right now, that team is going to move in there once that's established. And play League of Legends professionally. Basically, that's definitely the game plan. As with a lot of things, at DWAI, like we're a no-profit company at this point, and then that's a structure we're comfortable with, and that's a structure we like using for now, because having or not having to rely on funding to do what we already do actually offers us a lot of freedom, because it means that if something goes sour in terms of funding, we're not going to fall over, which is definitely a good thing. But the downside to it is it means sometimes things take a bit of time. There is often hiccups, but everyone that works here, and this kind of comes all the way back to the thing I was talking about at the beginning, everyone's so hardworking and so dedicated, and I found it really surprising that you could get a bunch of unpaid people who just like playing the game, and like being around people who play the game, and like providing a place for them to enjoy playing the game. It's amazing that these people are so dedicated, and I think that has a compounding effect where their dedication makes, everyone else want to be more dedicated, and then that just bounces back onto, the first people who were just really hardworking, and everyone's just constantly striving, pushing themselves further, and it's so great to see everyone just, we say something's going to happen, and we make it happen one way or another. We might not get it exactly when we said, it might not be exactly how we said it would be, but it happens one way or another, and that's really important to us, and that's really important to me personally. So when I'm here, making this vlog saying, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to head out to Vegas, then I'm going to head to Australia, form a gaming house, I'm not lying to you. It's going to happen one way or another, and I'd lose the shirt off my back if it took that to make this happen. Like, I'm prepared to give this my everything, and plenty of our staff, well, I should say plenty, all of our staff, actually, in North America and in Oceania, are fully prepared to do the same. And that's where we're headed, and I'm really excited, and I kind of hope that you guys can get excited about it too, because DWAI doesn't exist if it's just a bunch of admins sitting in Raidcall. DWAI exists because people like what we do, and they partake in our events, and they hang around each other, and then they form teams, and some people, have meetups. Yeah, DWAI's the people. That sounds really cheesy, the moment I said it out loud, but it is. DWAI is you guys, and we're just trying to steer the ship in the direction we think is going to be best for everyone. And part of this is making sure we're all on the same page, making sure this is the direction we all want the ship to go. So, that's really that. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you very much, everyone who's just like watched all however many minutes of this, just like me alone in my room rambling on. I will see you guys later. There'll be more of these coming out as well. Also, when I move to Vegas, I'm going to be getting a camera so that I can document my journey a little, keep you guys informed on what's going on. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. DWAI.